The other day, I catch myself saying, am I allowed to have fun while I was doing my work? I remember I was like working on social media posts and I was just having so much fun. And I heard this voice in me and I knew it was my anxious mind because I used to believe if I would be excited about something, then I would get the opposite of that experience, which is disappointment. There was a point in my life that I would trick myself by saying that I don't want something, or like I'm thinking that, oh, I don't really want it. It's like kind of like manipulating myself. I used to hear a lot people say, don't be too happy because you will get sad afterward. And I don't know where is this coming from, like, but I've heard this so many times throughout childhood and teenage years. So I think like that's really create that conditioning and belief that stuck in the back of my head. What I've also noticed in that moment is how quickly I get to snap out of it. I was so aware and I immediately say, of course we're allowed to have fun. What else are we gonna have if not fun? We don't have a result yet. We don't have anything else except this process. We are in the process and all we can experience now, either joy or misery. Like, either I'm having fun doing the work or I'm just loading the work, right? In that moment, myself chose joy. So why am I not allowed to do that? And I think when it comes to anxious mind, when it comes to overcoming part of your brain that keep trying to think of the worst, you have to train yourself to snap out of that moment as soon as possible. And I was reflecting what kind of work I've done that helps me to be in that position, being able to like aware and catch myself out of it quickly and then just like dismantle this anxiety and go on with my day, not allowing it to affect me greatly like it used to be. What comes up to me was the practice of mirror work. I just like to sit in front of a mirror and then have a conversation with myself. It's almost like journaling but in real time. So I started talking to myself a lot. I started to sit in front of a mirror and look at myself in the eyes and just share. So not so much of like affirmation of like, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm great and all that, but it's really talking as if I'm talking to someone else. Because I've noticed we are very kind to other people. We're gentle, we are considerate with other people. So we speak kindly, we find appropriate way to say it, right? Like so that we don't offend them, we don't hurt them, but we don't do the same way to ourselves. And I find looking at myself in the mirror and then speaking to the reflection as if I'm speaking to other person really helps me to reframe my self-talk from a negative one to a more empowering one. And then that habit, that practice develop over time. It's almost like makes my brain like, oh, this is how we speak to ourselves. And I feel like that is one of the things that helps me become more resilient with my anxious mind. Now I'm more kinder to myself. I speak in a different language with different attitude. I'm not on my anxiety side anymore. I'm like, hey, you know what? You're not being kind. Why are we worrying about that when things are going well? Why are we exaggerating the situation when there's nothing to worry about, right? And I want you to start that. I like affirmation in certain practice. I think it's very effective, but when it comes to like slowly reframing the way you talk to yourself, when you're trying to convince yourself so much, it's like, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm worthy. Rain was like, you're being too salesy right now, you're being too pushy. I don't know about that. I don't know if I trust that. But if you're just talking casually, if you're just like reframing, like, using like different word if each time to talk about yourself, to think about yourself as if you were talking to like a friend, stranger, or an elderly. If you're coming from culture like me who will never speak harshly to an elderly, we always find a polite way to say things, right? Like we find a way to articulate things better. And that is more easy for my brain to receive that, to like reframe it, to make a change. Because I don't try so hard to convince myself that I'm worthy. I just speak to myself like I'm a worthy of kindness, like I'm worthy of being spoken kindly to. I think that's where you can start. If you want to become more resilient in dealing with your anxiety, don't need to like fake it. I know the idea of like fake it till you make it works, and I think there is some power to it, and in a certain situation that could work, but for like something sustainable, something more grounded, change that is like really pierce into every level of your being, you can't fake it. You have to be genuine about it. I guarantee you, if you do that for 2 months, you would see the difference. You would notice the difference in how you feel about yourself and how you perceive yourself, and how much quieter your anxiety becomes. So try that out and come back again in 2 months. Leave a comment in this video or reach out to me at Kalinda Kini on my Instagram, and I would love to hear your journey.